Good morning. This is Ron Brown. It's Saturday morning, August 15th, 2026. I'm glad that August is at least halfway through. The heat has been pretty horrendous all around the world, and maybe we'll get some cooling. But anyway, this week I want to let you know the third quarter add-on is updated. I update it every day, and it's usually on the server by, I don't know, 7 a.m. Central Time. And you don't have to delete your warehouse and chart views this time because I made some of the changes last week to a few of my warehouse views. But just install it and you'll have exactly what I have. This week and going forward, I'm going to try to talk a lot about the features that are unique to HGS Investor. Now, I don't know how many times I've heard some software, comparative software, says that our software will do everything HGSI can do plus. And, it can do some of the things some of the software can do some of the functions of HGSI, but there's no program that really does what HGSI does. It's unique to the industry, in my opinion. Now, I've been using the software at least 20 years, probably closer to 25 years when it was really just coming out of the industry monitors group ranking system, and all of the features, or many of the features, have been contributed, or ideas have been contributed by users, but also a lot of them are mine. And I tried to, for example, a VPA, I wanted to get that into the program, and I asked Matt to if we could link it to Metastock, because Metastock had the VPA information at the time. I'm sorry, not Metastock, Amy Broker. And so what does he do? He goes in and puts all the code in HGS Investor so we don't have to use two different software programs. So that's just one of the unique features, along with many more that he just implemented on his own. As always, the market is your teacher. We know that. We learn that lesson every day, don't we? Any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features that HGSI has, and I'm going to look at a few stocks. This is going to be a continuing series about the uniqueness of the product. I'm a little tongue-tied this morning, sorry about that. But let's go ahead and get started. Now in this video, I'm going to concentrate on three things: the warehouse, the charting, and also the non-index groups that I update every day. These are non-indexed. Why are they non-indexed? Because in the past, before this feature was put in, if you had a group of stocks, it would index everything. And it took forever to update. It takes a long time now, but while it's updating, all this information that you see on your screen here is being calculated. So you get it out of the way, and then the program's extremely fast once you get through the updating process. Now, all these fields are calculated, and many of them are unique to HGSI, like the days since the crossover of the 3-6, both up and down, the volume point of control. And I'll just go through it as I talk about things. So what I'm looking at here, I've updated these groups today. And I'm going down here. We're going to look at 814 volume spike. There's end of day volume spike down where the stocks close down and volume spikes up. So there were 61 down and 76 up. And I'm going to transfer them to the warehouse. Now the view that I'm using is scorecard, end of day stocks, and industry group, because these are the primary fields that I like to look at. And going across here, if you've followed me at all, you know that I like these indicators. I like the Wyckoff indicators, which indicate different levels of volume, the spread, and the close. Just these three things here tell us that Quantum Corp, volume was very high, the spread was wide, and it closed in the middle, which I immediately know that there was some late profit taking. I can also see that the days since the 3 crossed the 6 is 9 days ago, and the days since the VPOC crossed is 9 days also. This is the days since the 6 crossed the 18. I don't filter on that. I just like to use this as a reference column. And then here's the relative strength, Kirkpatrick relative strength, and these are all pretty self-explanatory here. But these are this scorecard I look at, and if I scroll over to the right, I use a 28-inch monitor. I can see a lot of information that I don't necessarily look at every day, but the information is here. Now I'm always or generally sorted on raw combo, which is applied when this view or any view is applied to a group of stocks, because this combo, I don't think any other program uses a combo ranking, but Matt's in his brilliance decided to put this in and allow the fields to be used as a guide to give us information about, if I can get the right one here. Okay. About what you're looking for. Now, I've shown you these before. You can look at the combos, but this one here, I weighted percent close to the 52-week low and pushing towards the top of the 52-week range, and I've weighted these differently. These are 18.2, and then percent close to the 18, 200, 100, percent close to the open, and EMA fan trend up. You can see that I'm looking for stocks that are well off their lows and trading near the top of the 52-week range. But you can weight these any way you want to. But I think most of the combos are set up or attached to the correct warehouse view, the way I've been using them for many years. So what does this give us? The combo, it gives us a stock. When you look at the raw combo number in descending order, the numbers get smaller as I go towards the bottom, because Quantum Corporation, as of yesterday, was the stock which met the criteria of the combo best. So let's just take a look at Quantum here. Volume's very high, spreads wide, closes mid. Let's bring up the chart. You can see the mid close here. Volume is high. Here's the volume spike right here. But use my alternate crosshair. I can see there's a huge move up here. Now it's scary to buy these after they've broken out, but you can see how quickly it moved up the next day and the next day, and there was some profit taking going into the weekend. So the information that we get out of this, see the red circle, that means transfer of ownership. In other words, it was going from very strong hands to weak hands, and there was some selling. So if I click on that, that information comes right here. But we can see the trends, and we can see the Wyckoff information right in here. Now, I rarely do this, but what you can do is you can click on this right here, and then you can do the VPA analysis. Just create an HTML file, it'll do it automatically. And then you can see all of the signals and the dates of the signals and all of the VPA flags, just to get an idea how often these occur. Of course, you can look at the chart, which is what I normally do. But if you just want a summary, just use this little tool right here and go to what you want to see. Okay, let's do some more looking here. This column right here, days since the crossover. Whoops, sorry about that. Resort on the combo. 8. 0 is the crossover day, so 9 days ago we had a crossover. This is when I look at another chart in my introductory charts. Go down to number 3, and let's make it full screen and zoom in. So the crossover day, what did I say it was 9 days ago. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I must have my count off a little bit here. No, that's correct. So the crossover day was right here. You can see it. It's hard to see on here, but if I move this up, you can see a little green nub there. So that's where this stock started moving. You can see the volume point of control turn positive here. And let's do this. I'm going to scroll. I'll make it smaller so I can do this easier. Too far. There we go. I want to point out that there was a long period of consolidation here, and then we had a couple of VPA flags on this day. Strength seen returning after a downtrend, high volume up bar. Closing on the high indicates strength. And then here was a confirmation of that the next day. So before quantum really started moving up, there had been a crossover, both on the VPOC and on the 3-6 crossover, and a couple of days of VPA flags. Moved up, a little shakeout on this day, and then it really shot up with the effort to rise, and also the volume pocket pivots kicked into play here. So there was basing here, and two buy signals had fired, the VPOC and the crossover, plus the VPA flags. Now this is showing up today, but you can see the buy points were much earlier. Now it's pretty hard to chase this here, of course, so I would recommend not doing that. But I'm just trying to point out all the information you can get out of a chart. Now, up here, the industry group is blue. You can see it's moving up, and it's outperforming the S&P, which is green. So that's the outperformance right here. Now let's take in a little more information in here. Here's the crossovers days, and this is the days since the 16. The 6 crossed the 16. The RS rank is 99. No Kirkpatrick rank here. Hasn't traded long enough, I guess. But here's the price information, and this is your volume spike right here. And you can also see that it's in IT services. Industry group was up. VPA signal, yes. Transfer of ownership is the latest signal because it's overbought now. The accumulation is A, EPS rank is 0. Why is that? Well, let's take a look here. Darn it. I did the wrong thing again. It's early in the morning. This is why there's no Kirkpatrick ranking right here. It's this stock has not been trading for that long. But you can see that the earnings and revenue have been going up. That's what these lines represent. The rev is red, and the earnings and the projected earnings, the 3 dots, indicate the direction of the EPS rank and the revenue rank. Okay, let's go back to charts. And I'm going to take a look at this chart right here. Get just a clean look at the VPA flags. Okay, let's just mark this chart up a little bit. I'm going to bring up my drawing tools. Let's do a box here. You can see the basing period here. There's another one here. It moved up and then it stalled. And look at this long basing period here when it was very inexpensive. And then we get the breakout, and you can see the volume spike here. Here is a volume spike here as it was moving up. Let's put the crosshair on. Alternate C is my crosshair. And here is the beginning of a volume. This is above the 90-day. This is a 90-day simple moving average of the volume window. And you can see volume was coming in here, clear back here. It failed. But there was more of a volume spike right here. And then it went into a congestion period, and then it drifted off. Let's see what this looks like with the group overlay. Looks like it pretty much followed the group. And then the whole group was taking off here, evidently. Back to the daily. And actually, let's take a look at the weekly blank. You can see the boxes are here. The stock got up at one point to $91, $92. So if you look at it historically, there's still a long way to go. But we can't count on that, can we? Let's add something I rarely look at. I'm going to click on Edit Indicator and go to Volume Price Analysis. And I don't have any thing as far as a signal. I'm going to change this to green, make it a little more pleasant. Click on OK. Highlight VPA signals days on chart. You do that, and you can see wherever there was a VPA flag. Doesn't mean they're all good. Nothing's perfect, but it gives you an idea of how often these occur. I'm going to go back and going to edit the indicator, and I'm going to turn that off. Now this VPA flag is this information up here. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to edit. I'll go to edit current views. You can see that I have volume price analysis here and also volume price analysis here. And I really don't know why I did that, but anyway, it works. It doesn't matter. But if I go down here to this volume price analysis, you can see these three boxes are checked. Display VPA analysis, draw VPA flags on charts, and include the commentary in the data window. But I may or may not fix that. It isn't doing any harm, so we'll just leave it as it is for now. Take another look at the fundamental window here. Earnings are due on the 12th of November. No PE, of course, and here are the scorecard numbers. High relative strength, low group rank. So it's outperforming 99% of the other securities in the database. We have all this information over here. I mean, where else do you see this in any program? I haven't seen it, but I don't look around anymore. I used to look at every piece of software that came out, but I certainly don't do that anymore because I don't feel there's a need for it. Okay, now let's go down to the next one. This is Unusual Machines. It's a drone manufacturer. Of course, Don Jr. has a stake in this company, and that's why Trump implemented the tariffs on foreign manufacturers of drones, because you have to protect the family, don't you? Anyway, a little political commentary on my part, but the best drone makers in the world are obviously Ukrainians, and if you want the best drones, you should be buying from, or at least getting assistance from, the Ukrainians. But no, it's more important to protect profits for local industries, especially when your son's involved. Anyway, when he announced the upcoming tariffs for foreign import, or for drones that are imported in this country, it shot up 27% yesterday. Let's just take a quick look at this chart. You can see that the revenue shot up dramatically from 625. There were 2.12 million, and the latest quarter 16.72 for a 688% increase. Losing money, but going in the right direction, obviously, and it's going to get a big boost from those tariffs. But let's look at it closely here. Where are we right here? I'm going to draw. I'll just use one that extends itself. And I'm going to make it red. You just click on this to activate the tool. See the little nubs on here. And it's up against resistance. So watch it Monday. See if it blows right past there. But they are going in the right direction. It's the industry is obviously, there's a huge need for it. But there are many good foreign manufacturers also. I can see why they don't want drones from China coming in and so on. But our friends and ally, supposedly, I mean, currently I think they're still allies, make the best drones in the world, and that's I'm repeating myself. Anyway, let's go through some of the information here on this. I'm going to go to the warehouse, starting with Wyckoff, very high on the volume. Spread is wide, close is very high. You can see all that right here. And that information is up here also. Sentiment's obviously very bullish. We have an effort to rise here. Before the news came out, you can see the stock was just consolidating here. But this is why it is showing up, because it's in the volume spike up group. Back here, same thing happened. We're going to see this time if it can break through this resistance. Volume spike, volume spike, volume spike down, volume spike up, but then it failed. Okay, back to the warehouse. RS a 99, Kirkpatrick 99, it's been trading long enough. Price change one day, 25%. Beginning of the week. All the gain really was yesterday. Closed at 84.46 of its daily range, which is a strong close. Volume spike yesterday is 193.7% above the 90-day moving average. Here's the number of shares traded. It's in aircrafts and parts. Effort to rise. A, accumulation. I'm not going to go through all these. You can look yourself, but it's interesting that the combo pulled these two to the top of the list. I'm going to put this in my quick add to group watch list. And I'm going to do the same thing, quick add to group watch list, to see what happens to these stocks. And another thing about it, if you have a watch list and you mark up charts, or you could have just a markup folder, when you want to eliminate those stocks, get rid of the markups, you can just go to that folder. Now, let's take a look at a few more things here on these other charts. Let's go to the weekly blank. Take a look at the candlesticks here. Group overlay. Look at this. This is actually a very useful chart that I just put in last week. And let's go to the context. I meant to leave that up here. So VPOC started here, shut down for a day on that dark candle, black candle, reversed the next day. The crossover happened, looks like right here. You can see the crossover on this day right here, and it's been moving up ever since. Volume pocket pivots. Percentage above the moving averages. So a lot of information just in this chart and also in the next chart. Or I use the VFB or visual filter back test to see when a stock has a fan in place. And all of these have to be stacked, 200 to 150 in the 18. These four represent the fan. The 3-6 do not represent the fan, but you can see that from this point on, the fan was in place, which is a lot of institutional buying. Now, I could go on and on, but I don't. You probably don't. Speaking of droning, you probably don't want to listen to any more droning from me. So I'm going to call it quits. But just look at the power of the warehouse and chart views combined, and it's pretty amazing. One more, let's close on this. I want to see what groups are represented here as far as the volume spikes. Biotech, application, specialty, pharma, medical devices. The dominant group, of course, is biotech, which is the most volatile group in the stock universe here. That's it. This one a little bit long, but I haven't done a long video in quite a while, so I hope you don't mind. Thanks for listening, and I'm going to try to point out futures, do this kind of analysis whenever I put a video out. I'm not going to say every week, but whenever I do, I'll just try to show you these futures, the power of the program. Thanks for listening. Have a good weekend.